Welcome to All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian fishing podcast hosted by Rody and Diz. The boys will share their tall tales of the one that got away, as well as some regular segments they know all you fishing tragics will enjoy.
G'day and welcome to All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian Fishing Podcast, episode 105. We're here to recap what was an excellent Port Lincoln Tuna Classic. Diz, how you going, mate?
Mate, I'm good. I'm even better now. I've cracked the beer. We're here with you at episode 105, like you said. We've got an epic guest on. They were, of course, the winner of the 2024 Port Lincoln Tuna Classic. That is DC, Daniel Coleman, the man behind Risky Business and the Southern Ocean Diving and Marine Company, who are, of course, a wonderful sponsor of the competition. And we absolutely can't wait, Rody, to have a chat with him about his weekend and the story behind him taking home the largest fish in the Calcutta.
Diz, it is an absolute ripper story. He's a great sponsor of the event, which is always good. He's an epic bloke, so certainly a deserved winner. Southern Ocean Dive and Marine, everything you need diving over there. Great company. Took his kids out in the boat. Had a few issues, which we'll hear about.
Can't wait to get into that story, Rody. Before we do, mate, let's get through our usual segments. Of course, let's start with oranges and lemons. So I'll get us started, mate.
And you can't just say the comp in general, because we should say before we started, the competition was epic.
Oh, yeah, of course, mate. It was unbelievable. We're going to do a deep dive on the comp, and we're going to talk about everything from go to woe about the comp. And usually in oranges and lemons, we don't like these sort of generic, like, oh, we had a great weekend.
So we're banning that. We're doing the generics first. Yeah. It was a great weekend. Now let's get into something specific, Diz.
Go on then, Rody, yours.
All right, Diz, I'm going to say it was a tuna comp, but we had some epic fun catching a few other species in amongst it, Diz. And our captain of our boat, Going Grey, James Manor, he gave us, I think his quote was, "You've got 5 minutes here, boys."
Yes, it was, I think.
He might have given us a little bit more than 5 minutes, but it wasn't much longer. So we dropped on a lump at the cabbage patch.
Yep, sounded up a few big arches.
And chucked the jigs on. Big shout out to Will McClay, who hooked us up with some jigs and pretty much hit the bottom. We did a couple of drops and didn't catch any.
Yeah, I saw some flashes under the boat.
Yeah.
And on the sounder, they weren't that far below the surface. It was a big bommy that we were fishing on. And like we said, James sounded up those arches and sort of said, look, guys, get the jigs in the water. We're going to spend a bit of time here before we get back into the comp fishing. Dropped the jigs over, and once I hooked up, it was just like, bang, we're on here. And it was fighting not great. We'd seen quite a few trevally caught, some big trevally. And so I was thinking that, and basically as somebody said, oh, it could be a trevally, it just dived, and it was just like, hang on.
And meanwhile, I hooked one as well.
Yep.
Busted me off straight away. So I was feeling flat while you're fighting this fish, and I'm bloody over in the corner tying a new jig on.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dizzy got his to the boat. There was a massive school following it up. It was a Samson fish, and there were heaps following it.
Yeah, massive school of
Such a school, we thought it was a shark. Like, it was so dense, the school. We thought, there's a great white following it, you're going to get sharked here.
Yeah.
But pulled in a Samson fish. First you've ever caught, Diz.
First I've ever caught.
What'd it go?
Just clicked over a metre.
Beautiful. Very good.
It was epic, man. We got some great photos.
And while you were taking photos, I chucked the jig in and went again.
Oh, mate, it was like literally, I reckon within 1 second of that jig coming out of its mouth, you were just grabbing the rod. I was like, Rody, grab the rod, throw the jig back down, because we knew they were schooling up there. So we were like, get back in the water. And bang, not long after that, you were hooked up and you were fighting one too.
Yeah, mine went pretty hard too, Diz. Wasn't quite as big, 89 centimetres, but still nothing to laugh at.
Oh, still a great fish.
And got some good photos of both the fish. I got a tag in mine, which was great.
Yeah.
And that was just an epic little session, 15, 20 minutes, 2 Samson fish in a tuna comp, but you couldn't beat that, Diz.
No, absolutely not, mate. Bucket list fish for us. Never caught one. So great to tick that one off. And, some epic waters down there. That's probably one of the longest oranges we've ever had. Is that fair to say?
Geez, we could talk about that for another 10 minutes if you want.
We should technically drop that down in the fishing report. The excitement came over us. But anyway, Roddy, let's move on to the lemons because we might cover a little bit more of that story.
Have you got an orange first?
Yeah, well, my orange is the not generic.
Okay, what have you got?
So I've got basically the comp in general was spectacular. We're going to do a deep dive on that later. But being involved in the comp, we took the absolute mickey on the squid at Memory Cove on the night that we spent out on the water on Saturday night. There would have been an enormous amount of squid caught, which was epic. The banter was great. The locals encouraged us. We absolutely loved it. And the pub, mate, the pub was a great time, whether it was Thursday night at Jump Ship, whether it was Friday night at the Calcutta or the briefing, or whether it was Sunday night. It was great. Met some locals, got involved in all the antics. It was an excellent time.
Dizzy, everyone we met was so welcoming. We made some great friends. We're certainly going to be going out fishing with a lot of these people. As you said, the banter on the mothership was amazing. And you are right. I have never seen that many squid. They were just throwing themselves at any lure we threw out. And, they were all coming up to the light around the Peacekeeper, the mothership. So that was a lot of fun.
Yes, good call, Rody. Love it. Okay, mate, let's get into our next segment.
We got lemon still?
Oh, yeah.
We must have something negative.
Oh, do we need to?
Well,
I hate the lemons.
Let's just rip through the lemons.
Okay.
I'm going to say we didn't win.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. That can easily be a lemon. And look, my lemon can just be the drive home. It was nasty, man.
It wasn't good.
It was horrible.
We did have a few beers the night before. We will admit that.
We should come clean. We weren't on our best behaviour.
Couple of locals bought us tequila shots and it was hard to say no.
Yeah. No, that's right. We were getting carried away in the fun. The drive home wasn't great, you're right. But look, dropping into the servo at Port Lincoln, dosing ourselves up on a few Powerades, bit of water.
Red Bull, Maccas.
Couple of Red Bulls, Maccas. We got through the trip, mate. We got there.
All right, that's enough. We never need to talk about that again.
Good call. Right, merch. Talk to us.
We sold some caps. We sold some beanies. We picked up some merch from the competition polo, T-shirt. They had some good gear, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, mate. They did. And I think probably the best way to sum up the merch was get around the Port Lincoln Tuna Classic merch. It was really good. They had a lot of great stuff on offer there. So we couldn't encourage you any more to get around the Port Lincoln Tuna Classic. There's some brilliant merch going around there.
There is, Disney. It was good to see some of our own merch. I noticed Harry was repping the All the Gear cap.
Yes, Janine bought one.
She had hers on the last night. So good to see a bit of our own merch getting around too, Diz.
Of course. Rody, let's get into the news.
Rody and Diz have been searching far and wide to bring you the latest news across all fishing in the state, and we'll give you the rundown on what you need to know.
All right, Diz, we could talk about this for 3 days, as we have already said, but we're going to run through a bit of a highlights package. So we got out and fished on the Friday for a pre-fish.
Yes, we did.
And we found where the fish weren't.
Yes, that's true.
We did no good around the Neptune Islands.
We found a few little schools and we did get some fish on board, but not in huge numbers and not big fish either.
So anyway, then we went to the pub. The Calcutta was on. We did buy our own boat, Diz, as a bit of a syndicate.
Yep, we did.
That was a good night. Heard from tuna champions and a few things like that. Then off, tucked away for bed, ready for an 8 o'clock shotgun start in the bay, Diz.
Yep, that's right. Ready to go for the following day.
Conditions were really good, you'd say?
Yeah, look, a few people on Facebook where we've been tagged in different posts or we've posted ourselves sort of said that we'd probably be welcome back next year if we bring the same weather. So that puts a bit of heat on us.
All right, Diz, now give us a quick recap of how the weekend went.
Jump Ship Brewery, excellent night. Jeez, It was nice watching that tidal flare get pushed in there and that beautiful 27 Veach. Those two lovely boats in there. Let's not forget about Harry's lovely 6 metre North Bank. That's up for sale, mind you. And, of course, Toome's Too Slow, beautiful cat. They were all on display. Lovely night, good beers, good company. We did a live podcast too.
Yes, that was our last episode, obviously, Diz. So everyone's already heard about that, haven't they?
Yes, I'm sure that they have. Friday night, excellent. Briefing, Calcutta auction, amazing.
It was, Diz. And then we were into the fishing. As we said, the shotgun start Saturday morning, raced across the bay. There's some cool footage. Jump on the YouTube and have a look.
Yep, absolutely. That's a great start to any comp. A lot of fuel burnt, but a really great way to start the comp. Everybody watching other boats. Where are you going? You going round down? You heading down? You heading out in the Gulf? What are you doing? A lot of chit chat, but everyone, good fun.
And we headed out to Buffalo Reef, Diz.
Yep.
And we caught, what did we get, 21 on the first day?
Yeah, we caught 21. We had 13, 14 fish within the boat within like an hour or two. They were hot early.
Yeah, I reckon 50 minutes in, I'd sent a message saying we've got 13. So that was pretty good going.
Yeah, certainly was.
And we didn't get anything particularly sizable on the first day, but it was a steady flow of fish. We went for a look at Roslin's towards the end of the fishing time.
Which is where we got a good fish.
We got a 98, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was sort of right just before cut-off on the Saturday.
And by all reports at that point, that was kind of looking like it was probably not in the hunt for prize for first prize, but it would have been in the hunt for maybe second or third.
Yeah. Harry and Shane from Tackle World over there, they got a meter fish real early. So they were sort of the team to beat early.
Yeah.
And then Checkmate got a meter 4 or meter 5 towards the end of the day on the Saturday.
And we saw them.
We saw them hook
far
up.
from us.
Yeah.
So we were in the right area. We just didn't pluck out one of the fat ones.
And then over to Memory Cove aboard the Peacekeeper, filled up with fuel, plenty of beers, meatballs and pasta.
Oh, great time, wasn't it?
Chocolate croissant things, donuts, they were bloody good from Lance Bakery.
Yes, good call.
Heaps of squid caught.
Yeah.
Hundreds across all the boats.
Yeah, there was a lot of boats though.
Oh my God, we filled up some buckets. Every boat was getting them.
Yeah, there were. It was amazing just seeing them come out. Lights in the water, squid were coming everywhere, jigs going everywhere, lines getting tangled, people getting inked.
Swags getting inked.
Late
night salt and pepper squid. People might have even tagged a squid at some point.
It was just epic, man. It was so good.
Anyway, then we tucked ourselves into bed for about 3 hours sleep.
Yeah, we did not have a lot of sleep.
No.
Not a lot of sleep at all. But, geez, when those lights came on at 5:15 a.m. in the morning, it was kind of a bit of a shock to the
We were
system.
actually very sprightly Sunday morning, might I add.
Yes, we were.
All right, so then we headed out to the Cabbage Patch Diz. James, our skipper, in consultation with ourselves and Schultzy, who's our crew member. Fellow crew member.
Yep. Headed out to the patch. It was a good. It was a good team decision. I think we got out there, had a great day, saw some amazing bust ups of some fish.
Must have then caught 13, I reckon, on the day. It was a bit slow. We ticked off a few, and then caught another 5 or 6 on the way back in Diz. And as we said, we both got a Samson. That was epic. And then off to the weigh-in Diz. And we should get into some results, I reckon, here, Diz.
Yep, good call, ready.
All right, so the champion boat caught 122 tuna for the weekend. That was Reality Check.
Wow.
So they caught the most fish. Second was the Vatican 86. We saw them fishing. They were doing some good work.
Yeah, they were.
Champion boat under 8 metres was Into the Blue with 37, and then we were lucky enough to be runner-up in the under 8 metre category with 34.
Good call.
Very good stuff, Diz. Then there's lots of prizes. We're not going to read through them all.
Honestly, you know what you need to do if you want to see the prizes, which you should do, and you'll find out a lot more, is get onto the Port Lincoln Tuna Classic Facebook page. They post a whole heap of information about the weekend. I think their backdrop is the events and the event dates for this year. I'm sure they're going to do the same when they release the dates for next year's comp, which we're all hotly waiting for because we can't wait to whack it in the calendar and lock it away.
All right, Diz, but we should talk about the Calcutta. So Risky Business, DC and his crew, they took out the heaviest fish with 19.3 kilos. Second was Checkmate. They won heaviest fish was $63,980, which is huge. Second was Checkmate, 18,200 for their 17.4 kilo fish that they caught late on the Saturday afternoon, and they were great fellas, the Samut family.
Yeah,
and we're going to get them on too, some of the kids, I reckon.
Yeah, we are. We can't wait. Lovely boat too.
And third was Dauntless, 15.7 kilo fish, won them 4,570. The same amount went to Variety, the children's charity, 4,570. But they also would have made a lot of money off that auction too, Diz.
Yes, they would have. It was a great auction, that.
So that is a wrap from the Port Lincoln Tuna Classic. There's heaps of other prizes for kids, adults, females, most fish, all that sort of stuff, most tagged fish, and all that is on their Facebook page. As we said, Diz, but all round it was an absolutely epic weekend.
Good call, Rody. Love that, mate. It was great to be a part of. We're going to have Steve and Ash on the podcast at some stage, whether that be after they make some announcements about next year or whether they want to come on and do a bit more of a wrap-up of the comp. We can't wait to have them on again.
And 540 fish were safely released, with 101 of them having tags in them, which is great for some citizen science as well, Diz.
Yeah, and only 11 brought home. So it does go to show that the way that they run the comp is working. It's really well done. I think that the way that they radio in fish and those sorts of things does work for making sure that it is very overwhelmingly a catch and release comp. So great work to the guys, Steve and Ash, but the brains behind the 2024 tuna comp, the Port Lincoln Tuna Classic. And as they said, Rody, in anything they spoke about, they were thanking all the sponsors. We're not going to run through them, but again, if you jump on the Port Lincoln Tuna Classic page, you'll see everyone on there. Rody, that's a pretty good wrap-up.
It is, Diz. We've just got a couple of quick little news items to touch on. One thing we did share recently, it's Air Peninsula news, so it's pretty relevant. The Great Western Bridge in Port Augusta is being knocked down, with removal expected before the end of the year. There's a bit of a push that some of that, apparently the western side is in good condition and should have been kept as a land-based spot. So we're getting behind a bit of a push to keep that open, Diz, because there is very limited other suitable jetties or wharfs locally in Port Lincoln. So we're hoping something can be done to rectify this decision, Diz.
Yeah, it's a bad call for mine.
Yeah, look, we had that message to us by several people pretty quickly after it was announced. So it sounds like the locals are not in favour.
No, it wasn't. Alicia from Tackle World in Port Lincoln, who we were lucky enough to meet, along with husband Shane, the person behind Heat Seeker and his crew with Andrew Harrison, etc. They sent us in, obviously a local, as you say, EP news story. So it was great for them to send that through. We love people sending in relevant news stories. We certainly hope that something's done about this, mate. We don't like seeing opportunities for recreational anglers, whether that be land-based, boat-based, anything, not having opportunities to get out there. We've seen how much they bring to the economy, and each one of those you pull out, whether that's a jetty that you're not looking after and it falls over, or whether it's this, you pull it out of the system, it's just bad. It's bad all round. We don't like it.
We don't, Diz. Now, we're just going to quickly touch on this. So the bi-monthly meeting between RecFish SA and PIRSA is being held, I think it was today or tomorrow. They've released what the agenda items are, so we'll just quickly get through that. The yellowtail kingfish pressure and the ability for netting of spawning aggregations. That's a good one for them to touch on. Pippy allocation calculations and how the percentage is broken up for Recs and Pros.
Good call.
The stocking plan and permit progress for the Valley Lakes at Mount Gambier cod stocking project, which we've touched on before. And finally, the AVG disease outbreak and fishing closures in the southeast. So that is what's on the agenda, Diz.
We're going to watch that one closely, Rody, and there'll be a bit more news to break, I'm sure, after that. So we'll follow that.
And nothing new for any of our listeners because we've touched on all of that quite a bit.
Absolutely. Rody, good news segment. Let's get into Tackle Item of the Week.
Now it's time for Rody and Diz to really show you what it means to have all the gear with a lot of idea as they review a tackle item of the week.
Rody, we're going to talk about the Shimano Speedmaster. We had a size 10. Mate, that is an epic reel. So we have not fished with the Speedmaster before. We got one for the Port Lincoln comp. We spooled it up with 10 kilo mono because we wanted to fish that way. James has had success in the past doing it that way. He runs some other Talica overheads, but we wanted to run the Speedmaster. It is a fantastic reel, Rhodey. It looks good. It feels good. We got the 2-speed.
Yeah, it did, and that helped us a bit, didn't it?
It did. Sometimes you just want to drop it down into that lower gear just to crank, and other times if the fish might be swimming at the boat or something like that, you just want to be able to retrieve a lot of that line as fast as you can. So it is a spectacular reel. We love fishing with lever drag, especially in a comp like that where you can just turn up the heat just a little bit. You've got great thumb control on the fish. We're going to talk about the rod that we were using in episodes to come, but as a little tip, it was game type J.
So Diz has got the gear ratio of 6.2, 8 kilos of drag. It only weighed 540 grams, and with that rod you just snuck in there. It was a nice light combo, wasn't it?
It was, mate. It was a great combo. I'm going to go as far as to say it was the greatest combo we had on the boat.
Yeah, we loved it, didn't we?
We absolutely loved it. Fished well, looked great. We had that rod mainly coming off the outriggers with some skirts on it, and particularly on day 2, the fish were smacking some of those troll so hards we had running on the outriggers, weren't they?
And I think they retail for a bit under $400. Is that right?
Yeah, good, great price if you're not going to that real upper echelon Talica.
But we fished alongside the Talicas, and you really couldn't notice much difference, could you?
Nah, I don't think so, mate. The Talicas have certainly got that little bit extra again because we fished with them. We're going to talk about them in a subsequent episode. But the Speedmasters, man, they are good.
And they just feel tough, don't they?
Yeah.
Like they're solid. They're going to last the time.
Oh, mate, all the Shimano gear does, of course. Righto, ready? That's a good little tackle item. It's tried and tested, mate. We've just come away. We've got 35 fish, heaps of them on the Speedmaster.
It certainly is, and it's good to talk about a tackle item that we've just smashed into.
Good call, mate. Love it.
All right, this is what everyone has been waiting for. We all want to hear the story of how DC and his crew aboard Risky Business caught the 19.3 kilo fish. Diz, it made them 63,980 between the team.
Bang, how good is that?
Let's get him on the line and find out how it all went down.
Now it's time to get our guest on the line. We'll ask them the all-important 5 questions, then chat all things fishing in SA.
All right, guys, we are joined here today by the champion of the Port Lincoln Classic Calcutta competition, DC. You have had a great weekend. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having us here.
And we've also got your young fella Sloan as well. Is that right?
I do have Sloan here. So say hello, Sloan.
Hi.
Awesome, Sloaney. Great to have you, mate. And DC, you've just had an epic weekend fishing, mate. We can't wait to touch on the Port Lincoln comp. We were lucky enough to meet you over there, mate, and get to know you a little bit over the weekend. All the locals were exceptionally welcoming of us, which we're appreciative of, and we can't wait to have a chat with that a little bit later. But first, we're really keen to ask you the 5 questions that we ask all of our guests. And so to start us off, mate, this might be an obvious one after you've taken out the comp, but tell us about your best fish.
Oh, our best fish, well, yeah, probably the best fishing experience at the moment would have to be this comp. It's not very often you go out and catch a big fish like this.
And mine almost up to 1,000 when we caught straight away.
Yeah, so we got some nice fish out there. But yeah, it'd probably have to be my best fishing experience.
Beautiful. So, it's not hard to see why after you walked away with that big prize pool. Tell us your favourite thing about fishing.
That peace and quiet as you're wandering in that big fish and the unknown of what's on the end of it. Doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That anticipation when you get that strike, and especially when you're fishing areas where you, like you say, you sort of don't really know what you're going to pick up. You do get really excited. As soon as you see colour, you start going, oh, is it this? Is it that? It gets all exciting. Mate, tell us your first fishing memory or what got you into fishing.
What got me into fishing was I was probably 3 years old when my parents had me up the Murray River and got me a rod, and I sat at the bank all day until I caught a fish, and I wound that in, and from then on I was sucked into fishing, and thrown all my money at fishing and boats.
Well, you finally made a bit back this weekend, so that's a win. And it is amazing how many of our guests start from those humble beginnings. So yeah, it's a great way to get into it.
Yeah, so now I'm sending it down the generations, hopefully, with the young kids coming out and enjoying it as much as I do. So
beautiful. And DC, tell us your favourite sort of fishing and why.
My favourite fishing is probably more so diving, crayfishing, but yeah, I still love to put a rod in the water and catch some tuna and catch some whiting. So,
what about you, Sloane? What's your favourite sort of fishing?
Sloaney, what's your favourite fishing?
We're catching tuna and we want for abalones.
Yeah. So tuna and abalone.
How good's that? Excellent. It's so great to see you passing it through the generations, mate. We both have young kids. I'm not sure they'd be quite up for a 2-day fishing offshore, but they won't be long, and we can't wait to get them out there.
Yep. No, get them out there. Especially when the weather's good. There's nothing better to be, or places better to be than out in the water when it's beautiful. So,
absolutely.
It's the opal here right now.
Yeah, how good. Now, guys, tell us a funny fishing story, or maybe even one that got away.
Oh, we had one on the day that got away. So Sloaney hooked up to a big fish, and I reckon I'll probably even be able to send you a video through of his big fish that got away.
Yeah.
You should have seen his face as it was winding it in. We got it up to the edge of the boat almost as it went under the back of the legs on the motors, and it snapped off.
Was it bigger than the winning fish, do you reckon?
I'm going to say it was bigger than the winning fish.
Oh, imagine the story. How old's Sloane?
Sloaney's 6.
Oh, imagine if a 6-year-old won the prize. That would have been nuts.
So yeah, if it would have been unreal if he got it in it. Unfortunately, when you got it in the rod holder, so some of the fish he could pull it out the rod holder and wind it in, but obviously with this big fish it was just a bit much for him, so the rod never come out the rod holder.
Yeah.
Makes
it a bit hard to chase him around the motors.
That is, so that maybe with a bit of experience, with years to come, he might be able to land a fish of that size. So
Yep.
That was probably one of my most exciting moments of the fish that got away.
Oh, well, I might try and buy you guys if Sloane's another year older next year. You're a shoo-in.
Yeah.
We should ask you, what's the biggest tuna Sloane's caught?
Biggest tuna Sloane's caught, I think, was about 25 kilo, wasn't it? And that was at Low Rocks, probably just probably February last year.
And we caught my first little fish. My dad helped me catch this first little fish. Then we caught
You were just
big fishes.
you were almost 3 years old when you caught your first fish, weren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Very good. Now, all right, let's get into the serious stuff now. We want to hear all about your weekend, your crew, your boat. Give us the rundown from the very get-go, DC.
Yep. So, the start of our weekend, we obviously went and put our boat in the water on Friday night, just before we got on the Calcutta. Obviously put the boat in the water and took the car back home. So we didn't have a car sitting down there all weekend. We then went into the Marina Hotel for the Calcutta and stuff. The kids got to enjoy themselves, and someone come and tapped me on the shoulder. Probably a couple of hours later, saying, "Oh, your boat's about to sink down the marina." Ooh. So I bailed with what I was doing, raced down there to find leaning over on the starboard side, with lots of water inside her. So obviously the panic buttons set off, so I've jumped into gear. There were a few people down there, but they were just pumping water out of one of the bait tanks, so wasn't actually doing anything. it wasn't actually helping the boat at all. But I managed to get the motors down and get the pumps, the bilge pumps going. Probably pumped for about half hour, 40 minutes on the manual bilge pumps, while the other boys grabbed the trailer and brought it down. We then drove it up on the trailer to find a big crack in the front where one of my workers previously driving it on the trailer had accidentally hit it onto the trailer and put a crack through it. So I was stressing for the rest of the night. I didn't think we were going to fish on Saturday morning.
And tell us what happened next. You did the shotgun start, is that right? And then had to go back and fix it up?
Well, so we got up first thing I actually spent the night servicing the engines. So I had water in the oil. It wasn't looking very good for us. So I spent till about 1 o'clock in the morning servicing the boat and cleaning up all the engine to make it suitable to be able to race. Got the motors going fine. By then, what do we do then? I couldn't get any fiberglass, so I had to wait till 7 o'clock when Bunnings opened before I could get some fiberglass and resin. I've purchased all that. I've got back to the boat. Luckily enough, my neighbour come out, and his old man's a fiberglass. He used to build the Glance through Clayton Marine. Wow. He happened to come out. He's probably the best person to know about fiberglassing or anything at that stage of the morning. And he's just like, realign your boat on the trailer better and I'll be able to fix it for you. So we went and put the boat in the water at 7:30. Obviously just kept driving around the back of everyone in the shotgun start to keep that hole out the water. Before we took off with the shotgun start, we went to Fanny Point. We stayed on the outside, obviously on the southern side of everybody, so we can do a nice U-ey around, come back, realign the boat on the trailer better, pulled it up and fixed the crack.
Wow, that's incredible. So how long did it take you to fix it up?
So we were back at the boat ramp, I think at about 8:15. I happened to leave my young fella behind at the boat ramp when we in a bit of a rush, putting the boat back on and taking off. Luckily, I only live 200 metres down the road.
So he walked home, did he?
Yeah, he walked halfway home before Mum went down and picked him up.
Oh, good on him.
So, I was a bit worried about that one, but there was heaps of people down there that we knew. So he was good. He just told them he was walking home. They did offer him a lift, but he's like, "No, I'm walking home." So that was a bonus. But in the rush of things, we just he wasn't where everyone else was. So we accidentally forgot him there. But we got back home. We got it sorted out, and by 10:30, the boat was back in the water and good to go. So it took us 2 hours to get out to South Neptune's, where we started our fishing. Just after 12:30.
Wow, well, it sounds like you had a hectic 24 hours, and good on your son for being able to make it home on his own. But the other question I want to ask, have you had stern words to your worker who did the damage?
Yeah, I've had that. It unfortunately where the crack appeared, they did hear the noise, but when they went to investigate it, they couldn't see any damage. Obviously, where the crack is, it lines up with a section on the trailer, so it's covered. So you don't actually see it inside the tunnel of the cat. There's a few lucky things. We were probably going to be out at South Neptune, so a long way from anywhere where we could have put the boat on the beach to be able to fix it if we did have sinking problems out there. So we're very lucky in that aspect that it happened the night before and not the day of.
Absolutely.
So, sometimes things are just supposed to happen for a reason. So
Yeah, couldn't agree with you anymore. It's a tale of absolute triumph here, Rhodey, given all of that we've just heard, and you've managed to win the comp, which is quite amazing. And I think, given I do have one of your fridge magnets here, DC. So clearly a good person to have an issue like this, because to tell you the honest truth, if that happened to Rhodey and I, we would have not even known where to start, because we genuinely have all the gear but no idea. But the fact that you're able to get the motors back up and running, then sort everything out to get the hull good to be able to have the confidence to fish that far offshore is actually an amazing story. So huge congratulations to you, mate, for number one, doing that, and then being able to take out the comp. That is epic.
Yeah, thanks for that, boys. So, was definitely a stressful 24 hours. I think Saturday night those beers tasted really good on the mothership there on the Peacekeeper. I would just let my hair down for a little. I didn't have to worry too much about it. As the kids caught some squid and we had a good time. So, well,
they tasted good to us. They must have tasted amazing to you. And your kids certainly did clean up on the squid. They nailed a lot, didn't they?
They did. And a good range of squid as well. Some torpedo squid there that looked a little bit gnarly. So, there was plenty of fish around, that's for sure.
All right, now tell us about your boat Risky Business and tell us who you had on board with you for the weekend.
Yep, so Risky Business is an 8.2 metre cat, leisure cat. It runs two twin 225 Yamaha outboards. It's a beautiful, beautiful boat. I use it for ab diving, so it's very responsive in the water. I have had it up to 50 knots when everything's off the boat. We currently sort of sit at about 40 to 45 when the weather's flat. So we pretty much did 40 to 45 knots everywhere we went on Saturday and Sunday, which allowed us to get to places a lot faster than everyone else, which obviously potentially gave us that extra time to find the fish. So, I had myself and Brandon, my brother-in-law, and Opal and Sloan on board Risky Business. So there was only the four of us, two that were kids.
So Sloan 6 is your son, and Opal is how old?
Opal is 7.
And that was Brandon's child, is that right?
No, Opal's my child.
Oh, they're both yours?
Yep. So,
cool. Real family affair.
Yeah, so we we're supposed to have a few other people come out with us, but that didn't happen. People pull out through work and a few other bits and pieces, which I think they're spewing about now. But yeah, it always happens.
And before we get into the details of the winning fish, you've talked about your abalone diving and all that. We want to give your business a plug. So Southern Ocean Diving and Marine, you sponsor the event as well, is that right?
We did sponsor the event this year. This is the first year that we have sponsored it, and we'll definitely be sponsoring it into the future. And I think it's a great event for the community over here in Port Lincoln. And the boys, Steve and Ash that run the comp, do an amazing job. So I couldn't be prouder of the way they run it, and how professional they are about the business or the competition. So I'm very proud to support it.
And you told us about your ab diving, and I know you did fill us in after a few beers late in the piece. Tell us what else you do in your business.
We run a commercial dive company, so we pretty much do any dive work over here on the Eyre Peninsula. So we do a lot of work on wharfs, jetties. We do a lot of inspections on boats and propellers and salvages. So we're in the right game when someone's boat's sinking, and the quickest you can get onto fixing it before it goes down. The easier it is to get it out of the water and save it. So if you can get onto it quick enough, you can pretty much save any boat that's been under the water. The electrics on it obviously aren't going to like it too much, but as long as you look after and you keep spraying them, they will give you another couple of years before you have real problems with them. So, no, we're committed to helping the community around here, and
Excellent,
Yeah.
mate. It's brilliant. It's fantastic what you do, and I just can't stress after all that you went through, you really did deserve winning the comp. So let's talk about that a little bit, because you did catch the heaviest fish in the Calcutta. It was a great Calcutta auction, and look, I can certainly agree with you, mate. Steve and Ash do a wonderful job organising that event. Rhodey and I haven't been a part of it in previous years, so we won't comment on that, but it's definitely been one of the most enjoyable comps that we've ever fished in. Just the way that everyone embraced both us and everybody else around to be inclusive and have a great time, whether that was at the pub, whether that was at Memory Cove where we stayed overnight, or any of the events that were around it. It was absolutely epic. And as they said, that's only made possible by sponsors like yourself and others. So it's a real great community event, and we had a wonderful time. The Calcutta raised an enormous amount of money. Great to see a portion of that sliced off for the great work that the Runaway Brides do in the variety for the kids. That's fantastic. And then first, second and third, some wonderful prizes, mate. So you must be absolutely thrilled that you took out biggest fish. Tell us about when it hooked up, when you got it to the side of the boat. Did you think it was a winning fish? All of that. Talk us through it.
Yeah, so once we obviously trawling along before we found those fish. We come across that was our 6th school of fish we found for the day, which is, normally like some boats struggle to find even one school.
Yeah.
But we obviously we started at Low Rocks where we found our first school. Our second school was out at South Neptunes again, and then halfway between South and North Neptunes we found another school that Reality Check were fishing on. They seemed to be going pretty hard. I sort of looked at them and I said, oh, they look like small fish, so we kept going past. By the time we come back, they were still fishing on them, so we picked up a couple of them, but they were all small fish. So I think we caught 2 or 3 of them. I think what I had there, but then we just kept going because they weren't very big. So we sort of just only pull a couple of fish out of each school, and then if I find they're small, I sort of keep moving. You normally know straight away whether there's big fish in amongst the school. Obviously, sort of being in that sort of industry for a while, you start to and fishing and that, you start to know whether the fish are worth sticking around on or to keep moving. So we eventually, you go.
No, you go. I was just going to say, and when did you eventually find the biggest one?
Yeah, so we kept going up the Gulf there after leaving that spot between South and North Neptunes. We were heading for wedge when I found some other fish. And then obviously we kept heading up the Gulf after I got those fish. There was sort of just this, it was just the tide was running out and there was just a bit of weed and bait fish on the surface. So we just sort of kept following that up the Gulf. When we ended up sort of almost towards the 50-metre hole, maybe just off Dangerous there. And yeah, we picked up this big school of fish. So we're down at 20 metres. We were trawling along. I'm like, there's fish here. We had some divers. We had 2 skirts on the outside and 2 divers in the middle. We trawled along. We picked up one, went snap straight away. And after that, we went back over it with 2 skirts out and went bang, bang, straight on. We landed one of those fish. The other one stayed on for ages. Which brand, and then got up to the side of almost 2 hours to get that fish to the side of the boat where we could actually get it. We could get a net around it safely without getting it too close to the motors. So that was my biggest concern. Obviously, as it's swimming around, was keeping it away from the motors or anywhere. Using light line, it just snaps off so easily. So I've eventually got the net in under its head as it's come forward, and when we had it, the yells were good. Yeah, so we got that in the boat, and we got it. Got it measured. I think it come in at like 108 centimeters.
Oh wow!
The photos that I've got. I put it on the ice and that for a few moments, and sort of just took a few deep breaths, went back over the school. Hooked up a double header again, lost one straight away. Slowly spent the time on the second fish. Both times they were on skirts on the surface. So once we got them up to the surface, they just stayed up there. We just kept trawling across them. We got it pretty close to the edge of the boat. We seen it go under the boat. When it hit the motors and went ting.
Yeah, wow. So 19.3 kilos was the weigh-in of the winning fish. So that's gutted and gilled. So that's a bloody good-sized fish. Can you give us a little tip on what lure did the damage?
So we got it on a pink skirt. It would have been, it was a fairly large skirt as well. I couldn't tell you the size, sorry, but bigger lures is what we were using, because obviously we were chasing big fish. We weren't chasing lots of little fish. So using those bigger lures, we weren't getting as many strikes. But obviously the strikes we were getting were busting us off a lot more. So using that lighter line, but the ones that did hold on for the strike paid off.
And
so,
how many fish did you land, and how many did you lose for the weekend?
We end up with 13. 13 fish. All three of us boys got 4 each, and Opal ended up with 1.
Yeah.
So, and we lost 21 lures.
Oh wow!
So we definitely burnt through some tackle.
I suppose that's what happens when you target the big fish on the light line, isn't it?
It is, unfortunately.
And what time of day was it when you landed the winning fish?
It was about between, was it like 1? I think we got on the score around 1-ish, between 1 and 1 and 3 is where we started to really get those bust ups happening. So
it was just before the end then.
Yeah, it was right at the end of the day.
Wow.
We couldn't have. We pretty much almost gave up when we started to head for wedge. It was only we just find those couple of schools through the Gulf that excitement come back into it. Obviously, the young fella was getting on the radio and getting into everyone. Yeah.
Beautiful. You then went on to win. Did you know you had the winning fish at the time, or you weren't quite sure?
I wasn't too sure. I'm pretty sure Checkmate's fish was going to win the way they were talking about it on the radio on that. Like 105, I was like, even ours come in at 105 when I put it. So, when a fish always shrinks a bit when you put it on ice, as all the muscles and that tighten up. And that's why we put it on ice, put it back on the board, and I'm like, 105. And I don't know. I actually, to be honest, I didn't think we were going to win. I thought we got a chance, but I honestly thought we were going to come second. It was a pretty proud moment to see Brandon, get that winning fish and be on the boat with him when he's done it. So.
Yeah, that's a huge effort from the whole crew you had. Have you thought about how you're going to spend the winnings?
Probably fix his boat up, I think. Might be a good start.
Replace those 21 lures.
Yeah, I'll probably have to restock the tackle, and that'll take a fair chunk. Obviously we had a bit of a syndicate on our boat, and a few people, like friends and family and stuff that like to put into the Calcutta I suppose, as long as they pay their money in, I'm more than happy to split it up. So, the winnings don't all go to us, but they might look like they do. But we share it around with people that are keen to get involved in the competition, even if they can't be out there. So, that is a good part. But I'll definitely cover my cost for the weekend. So, plus, probably be able to buy the kids some more fishing gear to go out and chase some bigger and better fish, I suppose.
Awesome.
Very good, DC. Well, a huge congratulations and a well-deserved winner after all you went through, taking the kids out in the boat, a sponsor of the competition. All that adds up, and you're certainly a great winner in our eyes, mate.
Beautiful. Thanks for that, boys. We do appreciate it, and we hope you're there next year with us, and we can make 2025 another year to remember. So.
Absolutely, mate. We can't wait. It's certainly on our to-do list to get back there. We had a wonderful weekend. It was great to meet you, and it's even better now to get the full details of the story about you catching the winning fish and the weekend you had, mate. It's been a pleasure to have you on. Thank you very much for giving us your time, and we'll hopefully catch up with you next year.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, if you're ever over on the EP, hit us up, and might be able to take you out and catch some sambos or some deep sea fish there. So,
well, you won't have to ask us twice.
If you're around the place, you're heading over this way, let us know. We're more than happy to take you out on Risky Business or one of the other boats that we own. So,
beautiful. We would absolutely love that, DC. Thanks a lot for coming on and sharing your story.
No worries at all. Thanks for having us.
Cheers, mate.
Dizzy, how good was that to get the lowdown from the horse's mouth? DC, Risky Business, what a team. What a result for a great guy, a sponsor of the comp. Took the family out. He did all the right things.
He certainly did, mate. We were lucky enough to pick his brains at the pub on Sunday night, have a couple of beverages with him. I'm sure he was feeling very relieved and happy after having just won the comp, but also you got to hear firsthand the trials and tribulations he went through to get out there on the water and win the comp. So he was a happy man, lovely guy, very welcoming, just like the rest of the Port Lincoln locals and the crews more broadly that fished the comp. It was just a fantastic weekend all round. Rhodey, we need to get into a fishing report, mate.
Rhodey and Diz have been out on the water to bring you the news about where they're biting. Now it's time for the fishing report.
All right, Diz, tuna fever is hitting right across the state. We have heard where the fish were biting in the Port Lincoln Tuna Classic. Buffalo Reef smashed probably the most fish on the Saturday.
Yeah, I think so. If you were going for numbers, I think you wanted to be out at Buffalo. And we've just heard there were schools, and always are, right, in those sorts of areas. You just got to find them because you got to cover a lot of miles to find them sometimes down there. But great weekend. So
some bigger fish caught, as we've heard from DC, but a lot of fish caught over the weekend. Really, 540. Did I say before? That's a lot of fish coming out of one. Although it is a big area of water.
Yep, no, good call.
Plenty of Samson at the Cabbage Patch, Diz. We caught one each, and there was a massive school following them up.
Yeah, that was epic, mate. We had heard from people that sometimes when you get them going, that they really just fire up and they school up and all that. So we had very little experience fishing for sambos. As we said earlier in the Orange, we were lucky enough that James managed to sound up a couple of arches and we whacked a few jigs in just to get them going. But geez, that was epic, landing a couple. Bucket list fish. Great work by the skipper to get them onto us so quickly. So that was brilliant out at the patch. Great to whack a tag in one too, Rhodey. You just feel like you're doing the right thing when you do that. And can't recommend it enough to people if you've got the boat capable of getting out to the patch and the weather's looking good. It's a different world out there, man. It was amazing, wasn't it?
Certainly was, Diz. What else was amazing was the squid. If I was going to go one spot for squid in the entire state, I'd be making a beeline to Memory Cove. They were everywhere.
That was an epic squid session. It was so good. There was a lot of people, a lot of boats. The lights in the water just had them absolutely fizzing, and they were just taking anything. I reckon you could have thrown any lure down there. It did not matter. They were smashing them all. Probably big ones, small ones, arrows, all sorts of squid down there. It was just amazing.
It probably could have been the old spanner with a hook job, I reckon. They would have hit it.
Good call.
Diz, what about, well, that's plenty from the Eyre Peninsula.
What about Pobsy putting a squid candle up his nose? A little bit of a flashback there. It was getting a bit wild.
We've got some good squidding photos that we will share over the coming weeks. So away from the Port Lincoln Tuna Comp, Diz, there was lots of boats out at Cape Jarvis on the weekend. Plenty of tuna seen, not many caught. Is that fair to say?
I think so. Heard a lot of people saying they were flighty, and it's not surprising. You get that amount of boat pressure on a small patch of fish, they cotton onto it, and, you know, it's the same story, mate. You read that on the Victor Harbour tuna page that people out there who are just motoring through schools, or and I think not only that, but just that enormous amount of boat pressure just really, really can send them diving deep.
They do, Diz, and sounds like most people are fishing off Cape Jarvis as opposed to Victor Harbour. So certainly when we fished there a few weeks ago, they were out the front of the windmills, and it sounds like they're still there, but as we say, a lot of fish, a lot of boats getting around.
Yeah, I have heard some people getting them in the passage though.
Yeah, I have no doubt some people are getting them, but I think there's a lot that aren't too.
Yeah, good call.
All right, what else is biting, Diz? Crabs, anything like that? Your old man been out?
No, they haven't been out recently, but look, the fishing across the state is great. This is good weather. We've had some lovely days. Always good to be out on the water. We can't recommend it highly enough. So do yourself a favour, get out there, catch some fish, let us know where they're biting, or let us know where you caught them, and we'll whack it in the fishing report, Roddy.
All right, Diz, that's been a jam-packed episode, and a great competition. We have loved talking about it. We love participating, and we've got it in the calendar. We're hopefully going to get there again next year.
Oh, geez, I hope so, mate. It was a great weekend. Might even go as far as to say it was an epic weekend. And if you are loving this sort of stuff, then get around us on the socials, mate. You'll find us on Facebook, Instagram. You can find the podcast anywhere, whether that's Spotify, Apple Music. Just jump on the Facebook page, download it directly from Buzzsprout. Get around us, send in your photos, any local news, get around it.
A massive thank you to DC from Southern Ocean Diving and Marine, an epic guest and a worthy winner of the Calcutta. We also want to say a big thank you to Ash White and Steve Toome, who were the organisers of the comp, as well as all the sponsors and everyone who we met over the weekend for making it such a great event.
Good call, Roddy. Here.
All right, thanks for listening, guys. We'll leave you to it, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Rhodey and Diz hope you enjoyed today's episode of All the Gear But No Idea. Keep up to date by liking and sharing us on Facebook and Instagram, and you can subscribe on all the major podcast platforms. Until next time, good luck fishing.